Ma'am, step away from the vehicle.
I'm sorry, is something wrong?
I'll ask the questions. What are you doing here?
Just loading my shopping bags. I was at Macy's.
Huh, okay, sure. This your car?
Yes, it's mine. I can show you the registration.
Lady, everyone's got a story. Turn around. Now.
Please. Mommy! Lily, go inside!
Officer Davis had no idea what he just walked into. In the next 72 hours, this simple parking lot stop would destroy his career. It would end his future in law enforcement forever. That suspicious woman loading shopping bags, she was not just anyone. She was Sheriff Robert Thompson's wife, the same department that paid Officer Davis's salary. Her husband ran it. Denise Thompson had been part of law enforcement for 15 years. She hosted every police charity event. She won the department's Woman of the Year award. And the mall security cameras? They recorded every single second. Before I continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone in power? Tell me your story in the comments below. But Officer Davis had no idea who he was dealing with. Let me tell you about Denise Thompson. Denise was 47 years old. She used to be an elementary school teacher for 12 years. She had a master's degree in education. She retired from teaching to support her husband's career. For 23 years, she stood by him. She raised their children. She built their home. Now here's what made her special to this community. She was not just the sheriff's wife. She was everyone's friend. She volunteered at the food bank every month. She helped at her church every Sunday. She organized charity events for police families. The department gave her their Woman of the Year award in 2019. The mayor knew her by name. The county commissioner came to her dinners. Every officer in that county knew her face. Well, almost every officer. One officer did not recognize her. That officer was Marcus Davis. On that Tuesday afternoon, Denise was just shopping. She bought winter clothes for her grandchildren at Macy's. She had coffee at the food court. Then she walked to her car. It was a normal day. Nothing special. Nothing suspicious. But the color of her skin made Officer Davis think otherwise. Now let me tell you about Officer Marcus Davis. His story shows us how this happened. Davis was 34 years old. He worked as a police officer for 6 years. In that time, he got transferred between stations, twice. That is not a good sign. Good officers do not get moved around. Here is what his file showed. In the past 3 years, 14 people filed complaints against him. Think about that number. 14 complaints. And here is the pattern that matters. 11 of those complaints came from Black or Latino citizens. 11 out of 14. Let me tell you about some of these stops. In 2021, he pulled over a young black man at a gas station. He said the car looked suspicious. He held the man for 45 minutes. The car belonged to the man. Nothing happened to Davis. In 2022, he stopped a Latino family in a grocery store parking lot. He said they matched a description. The description was a dark SUV. Their car was a white sedan. Davis got a warning. That is all. In 2023, at the same mall where this story happens, he stopped a black teenager. He said the teen was loitering. The teen was waiting for his mother. Again, nothing happened to Davis. His bosses knew about the pattern. One sergeant flagged him for more training. That training never happened. The union protected him every time. Type accountability in the comments if you think this pattern should have been stopped sooner. But this time would be different. This time, the victim had connections Davis could not imagine. Let me set the scene for you. This is where everything went wrong. The date was Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. The time was 2:47 in the afternoon. The place was Riverside Mall. This mall sat in a nice suburban area. It was one of the safest malls in the region. Families shopped there. Retired people walked there. Working people grabbed lunch there. The weather was beautiful. 68 degrees, clear blue sky, fall leaves on the trees. Nothing about this day felt dangerous. No crimes were reported, no warnings went out, just a normal Tuesday. Denise had been shopping at this mall for 20 years. She knew the stores. She knew the people. She parked in her usual spot. That afternoon, she left home at 1:30. She spent an hour at Macy's. She bought sweaters and jackets for her grandchildren. Then she grabbed coffee. Around 2:40, she walked to her car. At the same time, Officer Davis was on patrol in the mall area. He had already made one stop that day, another suspicious vehicle call. No ticket, no arrest, nothing real. Then he saw Denise loading bags into her trunk. If stories like this matter to you, make sure to hit subscribe. We cover these cases every week. What happened next would change many lives forever. Officer Davis parked his patrol car right behind Denise's vehicle. He blocked her exit. Then he walked toward her with his hand near his weapon. Denise thought maybe there was an emergency. Maybe the officer needed help. She smiled and started to turn. "Ma'am, step away from the vehicle." She stepped back. She was confused, but calm. "Is something wrong, officer?" "I'll ask the questions. What are you doing here?" "Just loading my shopping bags. I was at Macy's." Davis looked at her shopping bags. He looked at her car. His face showed no trust. "Huh. Okay, sure. This your car?" "Yes, it's mine. I can show you the registration." "Hands where I can see them." Denise slowly raised her hands. Her heart started beating faster. "You're acting real suspicious right now." "Please, sir, my husband works in law enforcement. If you just call him." Davis laughed at her. "Lady, everyone's got a story. Turn around." "Turn around? But why? What did I do?" "Stop resisting." She was not resisting. She was asking a question. But Davis grabbed her arm hard. He pushed her against the car. "Please, I want to know your badge number. I have a right to know." Davis ignored her. He twisted her arm behind her back. "You're hurting me. Stop resisting." She was not moving. She was crying now. The handcuffs clicked around her wrists. They were too tight. "Please, just call Sheriff Thompson. He's my husband." Davis laughed again. "Yeah, sure, and my uncle is the president. You're under arrest." 3 people watched this happen. Sarah Chen, a 28-year-old nurse, pulled out her phone. She started recording. "She didn't do anything," Sarah yelled. Robert Martinez, a retired teacher, walked closer. "What's the problem here, officer?" Karen Phillips, a mom with 2 kids, moved her children away, but she stayed to watch. Davis pushed Denise's face against the hot car hood. Her shopping bags fell on the dirty ground. Her grandchildren's new clothes landed in the dirt. One more time, Denise tried. "My husband is Sheriff Robert Thompson. Please, just call the station." "Ma'am, I don't care if your husband is the president. You're under arrest." He put her in the back of his patrol car. Sarah's phone kept recording. What happens next? Let me know if you think Davis knew he was making a huge mistake. Comment below. The drive to the police station took 12 minutes. Denise sat in the back seat. Her wrists hurt from the tight handcuffs. She stayed calm. She kept asking for a phone call. Davis ignored every request. They arrived at the station at 3:15 in the afternoon. Davis walked Denise inside for processing. This is where criminals get their paperwork done. This is where mugshots get taken. But something strange happened right away. The desk sergeant looked up. His name was Sergeant Williams. He had worked at this station for 18 years. He recognized Denise immediately. His face went white. "Davis," he said slowly. "Do you know who this is?" Davis shrugged. "Some lady from the mall parking lot. Suspicious activity. Resisting arrest." Sergeant Williams stared at him. Then he looked at Denise, then back at Davis. "Stay here," he said. Williams walked to another officer. He whispered something. That officer's eyes went wide. Word spread through the station in minutes. Officers looked at Davis. They looked at Denise. Everyone knew what was happening. Everyone except Davis. Sergeant Williams picked up his phone. He called Sheriff Thompson directly. The sheriff was in a meeting with the county commissioner. Important county business. "Sir, you need to come to the station. Now, it's about your wife." There was silence on the phone. "What do you mean, my wife?" "Sir, please just come." At 3:38 in the afternoon, Sheriff Robert Thompson walked into his own police station. He still wore his meeting clothes. He did not even grab his jacket. He walked fast. Then he saw her, his wife of 23 years, sitting in the processing area. Her wrists were bruised. Her eyes were red from crying. She looked like a common criminal in his station. under his command. The sheriff stopped walking. His face showed two things: rage and heartbreak. He walked past Officer Davis without looking at him. He went straight to Denise. He personally removed her handcuffs. He held her for a moment. She broke down crying in his arms. Then Sheriff Thompson turned around. He looked at Officer Davis. "Do you know who she is?" Davis finally understood. The color drained from his face. "Sir, I didn't know. She matched a description." "What description? A black woman? Shopping?" Davis had no answer. "Sir, she was acting suspicious. She was loading shopping bags into her car. She resisted arrest. She asked for your badge number. That is her legal right." Right then, other officers pulled up the evidence. Body camera footage, mall security footage. Sarah Chen's video was already spreading online. Every word Davis said was recorded. Every action was on video. His excuses fell apart one by one. Suspicious behavior? She had a receipt from Macy's. Resisting arrest? The video showed her standing still. Matched a description? There was no description. Davis never called dispatch. He made it up. 3 witnesses came to the station that night. Sarah Chen brought her phone video. Robert Martinez gave a written statement. Karen Phillips called with more details. Sheriff Thompson took his wife home that night, but he knew this was just the beginning. By tomorrow, the whole county would know. And Officer Davis? His countdown had already started. But wait. There is more to this story. If you are new here, hit subscribe now. You do not want to miss what happens next. That same night, the department took action. They put Officer Davis on leave. He could not come back to work. Internal Affairs opened an investigation. This is the group that looks into police misconduct. But here is the tricky part. Sheriff Thompson could not run this investigation himself. His wife was the victim. That is called a conflict of interest. So the state attorney general took over. In the next 48 hours, investigators found a lot. They watched the body camera footage frame by frame. They got the mall security video. They collected statements from 7 witnesses. They pulled Davis's entire work history. And what they found was disturbing. Davis's story did not match reality. Not even close. He claimed Denise showed suspicious behavior near her car. Reality? She was loading shopping bags. She had a receipt to prove it. He claimed she was not cooperative. Reality? The body camera showed her calm and polite from the start. He claimed she resisted when he tried to detain her. Reality? She asked for his badge number. That is legal. That is everyone's right. He claimed she matched a suspect description. Reality? No one called dispatch. No alert went out. No description existed. Davis made the whole thing up. Then investigators looked at his past. 14 complaints in 3 years. 11 involved minority citizens. 3 times his body camera had problems during questionable stops. One sergeant wrote a warning in his file. Training was ordered but never happened. On day 3, the department fired Officer Davis. The official reason? Conduct unbecoming an officer, violation of department policy, civil rights concerns. On day 5, they sent his case to the state attorney general. Criminal charges were possible. On day 7, they contacted the FBI. A pattern of civil rights violations needed federal review. At first, Davis thought the union would protect him. It always had before. But this time, after they saw all the evidence, the union stepped back. They would not help him. That had never happened at this department before. Davis went through many emotions. First, he was angry. He said he followed the rules. Then he blamed others. He said this was political. He blamed Sheriff Thompson for being unfair. Finally, he went quiet. He hired a lawyer and stopped talking. But his problems were just beginning. Because someone had been recording. And that video was about to go everywhere. Let me walk you through how fast this spread. At 3:20 on day 1, Sarah Chen uploaded her video to Twitter. By 5 in the afternoon, 15,000 people had watched it. Local activists shared it. They were angry. By 8 at night, 100,000 views. It was trending in the area. By midnight, local news stations picked up the story. They ran it as breaking news. Day 2 morning came. 500,000 views across all platforms. National news took notice. CNN talked about it. So did other major channels. By Day 2 evening, the view count kept climbing. Day 3 hit. The video reached 2.5 million views. News stations from other countries covered it. Here are the final numbers. Twitter saw 1.8 million views and 45,000 shares. Facebook had 800,000 shares. TikTok exploded with reaction videos. Combined, those got 5 million views. Reddit put it on the front page of many groups. People had strong opinions. One comment got 23,000 likes. It said this is why bias can happen to anyone. Another got 18,000 likes. It pointed out that even the sheriff's wife got treated this way. The most popular comment got 31,000 likes. It asked what happens to women without connections. Local TV stations made it their lead story. National shows invited guests to discuss it. Newspapers wrote long articles. Podcasts covered it. The police department released a statement. They said they took this seriously. They said the officer was fired. They promised full cooperation with all investigations. Davis tried to respond through his lawyer. It backfired. He claimed the video was taken out of context, but the video showed the full context. His family asked for privacy. Someone tried to start a fundraiser for him online. It got removed within hours. This story got millions of views. If you think more people should see it, share this video right now. Comment below and tell me how you felt watching this. But the viral video was not the only consequence. Something else was happening. Something personal. Inside Sheriff Thompson's home. The video changed everything. But there was another story happening. A private one. Sheriff Thompson and his wife had been having problems for years. His job took so much time. She made many sacrifices. The stress built up. This incident became the breaking point. 6 weeks after the arrest, they announced their separation. The arrest did not cause their marriage to end, but it pushed them over the edge. Sheriff Thompson struggled with guilt. His own department had failed his wife. The system he built and defended had hurt her. He asked himself hard questions. If this could happen to her, with all her connections, what happened to everyone else? Their 23-year marriage ended in divorce. Now let me tell you about the lawsuit. Want to know how much money was involved? I will tell you in a moment. Denise filed a civil lawsuit 3 weeks after the incident. She sued the county. She sued the department. She sued Officer Davis personally. Her claims included false arrest, too much force, civil rights violations, and emotional distress. She hired a famous civil rights lawyer. The discovery process began. This is when lawyers gather evidence. What they found was shocking. All 14 complaints against Davis became public. The department's failure to act was documented. Statistical evidence proved a pattern of racial profiling. Training gaps showed a system-wide problem. Here is the settlement amount. The county paid Denise Thompson $850,000. But money was not the only part of the deal. The department had to make changes. All officers must now take bias training. They created a new review board with regular citizens on it. They fixed the body camera rules. No more malfunctions allowed. And Davis, he can never work as a police officer in that state again, ever. The state also filed criminal charges. Davis pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of false arrest. He got 18 months of probation and community service. The FBI kept investigating potential civil rights violations. Today, Davis lives in a different county. He has no job in law enforcement. He deleted all his social media. Any money he makes in the future can be taken to pay his legal judgment. Officer Davis destroyed his career in one parking lot stop. He lost everything. But for Denise Thompson, this was never about money. 2 months after her arrest, Denise Thompson stood on the courthouse steps. She gave a statement to the press. "I have lived in this community for 25 years," she said. "I have hosted officers at my home. I have fed them. I have supported their families. And in one afternoon, I became a suspect. Because of how I look." She paused. Then she continued. "I had connections. I had resources. I had a voice. What about the woman who does not have those things? What about the mother who cannot afford a lawyer? What about the teenager nobody believes? She had a message for police officers. Most of you serve with honor. I know this. I have seen it in my own home. But the officers who do not, they poison everything. And the departments that protect them, they are part of the problem. She had a message for the community too. Believe people when they tell you what happened to them. Write things down, record things. Witnesses matter, videos matter. Staying quiet only protects bad behavior. Then she shared what she wanted. Real accountability, not just firing bad officers. Preventing this from happening. Training that actually works. Oversight with real power. She announced that her settlement money would help others. I am starting a legal defense fund. For people who cannot afford lawyers. For people without connections. Her final words were powerful. I was lucky. I should not have needed luck. Nobody should need luck to be treated fairly. Denise Thompson's case was special. But the problem is not special. It happens everywhere. Studies show black drivers get stopped 20% more often than white drivers. Reports show patterns of racial profiling in police departments across the country. When people complain about police, 86% of the time, nothing happens. Body cameras have problems more often during controversial stops. Denise had connections. Most people do not. She had video evidence. Most people do not. She could afford a good lawyer. Most people cannot. If she was not the sheriff's wife, Davis would still be working. He would have 15 complaints instead of 14, and nobody would know her name.